Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle, and today we're going to talk about experimenting with our life. We're also going to talk about some of the things that block us from being able to experiment and how to break out of the boxes that we put ourselves in life. Let's get into it. So, how do we experiment with our lives? Well, we are going to have to become scientists, and you know what scientists do? They perform experiments. So usually when a scientist goes to perform an experiment, they do a few things. So first of all, they usually pose a question and are curious about finding out the answer to something. So my question to you is, what are you curious about? What have you heard about recently that piqued your interest or that made you perk up when you heard about it? What ideas do you have or what dreams do you have that you haven't taken action on yet? What questions do you have about life or about anything that you may have an interest or you have a question about? There's a lot of things in life that we question, and it's okay to go out and try to find the answers for yourself. So, we as humans, it's easy for us to get stuck in routine, not only in the routine of how we go about our day, but also in the routine of the material that we allow in our minds, the media that we consume, the social sites that we consume, the ideas that we have, the thoughts that we think, and the actions we take. And even when certain things aren't working, we continue to perform the same actions and to put the same material in our minds and to have the same ideas and listen to people with the same ideas and have the same thoughts that we usually have and do the same actions that we do every day. Even though it's not working, we're still doing it. And in order to get a different result, we're going to have to do things differently. How can our lives be any different if we're doing the same routine day after day after day and putting the same material into our minds every day and listening to the same people that have the same ideas that talk about the same things week after week, which then causes us to have the same thoughts, and our thoughts are what create our behaviors and our actions, and we end up just creating the same life over and over again. Even though it's not working, even though you're not happy, and even though you know this isn't the life you want. So how do we get out of this loop? Well, we've got to learn new ways of thinking and being, but also we have to test it out in order to prove if it's going to work or not. So not only does a scientist pose a question, or are they curious about finding out why things are the way they are in the world, they also will do research and state a hypothesis of what they think the turnout will be after the experiment is done. Then they'll design an experiment, but then they ultimately have to take action and perform the experiment. What new ideas have you heard, either from me or other people, that you passed judgment on and you said, no, I don't think that's the way it goes. I don't think that'll work for me. Or maybe it didn't line up with some of your beliefs. What is it that you've heard from other people that you thought, hey, I want to try that way of thinking or being, and you just haven't done it yet? It's okay to test out other people's ideas and strategies to see if they actually work. I do it all the time. So don't be so quick to judge unless you've actually tried the thing that the person's talking about. Now, when I'm going to try something new, I usually give it 3 weeks. 3 weeks tops, and if it doesn't work or I'm not getting any benefits out of it, I let it go. And it's a failed experiment. It doesn't work. But if it does work after 3 weeks, hey, I've gained knowledge and I've got this new thing in my life that I'm glad I tried because it's helpful and my life's better. And this could really be about anything. It could be that you want to travel somewhere to this new place that somebody was posting about on Facebook the other day. It could be a new way of eating that you want to try. And there's so many different ways to eat out there. Like I started trying intermittent fasting and I absolutely love it. I gave it 3 weeks and I experimented with it just to see how it would affect my body and how it would affect how I feel. And I love it, so I'm going to stick with it. And if you guys are interested in learning more about intermittent fasting and want me to make a video, just comment below and I can make a video on that later. But, you know, there's keto out there. There's all kinds of new ways of eating out there that you can try, and maybe it piqued your interest, but you're like so stuck in the way you eat that you're afraid to put new foods into your body. But it's okay to try new things, and if you don't like it, all you have to do is stop. And this could go for a workout, a new routine that you heard about. Maybe you heard about yoga and you want to try yoga. I really would have never thought that I would have liked yoga, because I'm the type of person that when I work out, I feel like I have to go hard, and I've got to sweat in order to feel like I've done something. And yoga, I judged it before I actually tried it. So I thought that yoga was going to be just relaxing and you wouldn't burn any calories and it's like a lazy workout. Oh no. Not only was I sweating, but I gained more muscle doing yoga than I did even lifting weights. And yoga requires a lot of strength. It requires you to go within and be with yourself, and it helps you become more present. And so I was really wrong about yoga. And so if I had never experienced yoga, then I would have never realized how good of a benefit that it had on my body. Maybe you want to try a new hobby. Maybe you want to paint, or maybe you want to build motors for cars, or work on motorcycles, or, start drag racing. I don't know. But anything like that. Maybe you want to play an instrument. You'll never know if you're good at it, or if you even enjoy it, or if you can even learn it easily if you don't try it. So it's good to experiment with new things that might bring joy to your life. Maybe you heard about meditation and you thought, you passed judgment on it, and you thought, oh, that's just a Buddhist thing that people do, and that's cultish, or that's religious, that belongs to another religion. And you don't realize that it actually is a great tool for becoming aware of what's going on in your mind. And also it's a great tool for learning who you are as a person. So always be open to ideas, and don't judge the idea until you've actually went in and tried the idea and performed your actual experiment, because that could be the very thing that changes your life. Maybe you have an idea to start a new business, or you want to collaborate with somebody in business, or you want to build new relationships or friendships with someone. You never know if it's going to work if you don't step out and start taking action. Because let me tell you something, action creates clarity. If you're not clear on what the right path is, choose a path, take action on it, and you'll become real clear on which path is the right path to take. I've done this multiple times. When I wasn't sure if something, which way to go on a decision, I just chose one and then went with it. And it wasn't long after that I realized, yes, this was the right decision, or no, this is the wrong decision. Let me back up and go in this direction. So it's always important to take action and perform your experiments like a scientist would in life with anything that you do. Or maybe you just want to change your schedule, because who says you have to have the same schedule every day, day in, day out, with no variations? So as you're performing these experiments on your life, you're going to be able to collect data. You're going to get valuable information that's going to tell you exactly what you need to know. And if I were you, I would journal all this stuff down, because it's valuable information. And like I said, you're going to become very clear on what is for you and what isn't for you, on what is working and what is beneficial to you and what isn't beneficial to you. And it's all going to be in the data. And then when you're done with your experiment, you're going to draw your conclusion and come to your conclusion. And you'll know for a fact if that was the thing that you needed. And then what do scientists do? They publish it. They publish their findings. And guess what? If they find that they've experimented with this for long enough and the experiment failed, what do? Well, they tweak something in the experiment, in the design. They tweak the design, and guess what? They go through all the steps again, and they experiment again, and to see what conclusion they come up with the next time. And, if it fails, then they tweak that design again. And this is what we should be doing in life. We should be doing this. If it doesn't work, if things in our life aren't working, we should be trying new things and new ways of making it work until we come to the experiment that does work and that proves our hypothesis of what we thought would be if we tried it. So, what are the blocks that are keeping you from experimenting with your life? What are the blocks that are keeping you from raising the quality of your life and doing things that you know will probably benefit you, but you're not sure? You think it might be good, but you're too scared to try? I'm going to show you some blocks that can come up when you start trying to experiment with different things in your life. The first block that'll come up is your desire to fit in. Everybody wants to fit in. So the desire to fit in is something that can hold people back from trying new things and experimenting with their life and starting a business and trying somebody else's idea that they said worked for them, but they're scared to try it because if they try it, they will be looked at as weird. Do you know what I'm saying? So the desire to fit in is something that can block you from experimenting with your life. And you don't want to do that. You don't want to care about what others think because it's your life and it's not theirs. And you have to live that life. They don't have to live your life. So it's always good to keep others out of your experiments, to keep other people's opinions out of your experiments. How about that? Another block is the desire to be part of a tribe. If you want to be part of a tribe, usually you have to conform to whatever the tribe says you have to do. And that conformity can sometimes make it easy to lose yourself and who you are really as a person. And maybe you think, if I go and try this, then my tribe won't accept me because it's not within the realm of what they say I can do and say in order to be a part of this tribe. And if you're a part of a tribe like that, then I would suggest that you experiment and try to step outside of that tribe and find maybe another tribe that's a little more open, loving, and accepting. Sometimes our culture or the culture that we live in has an effect on our ability to go out and experiment. I don't know what kind of culture you have in your family or the culture you have in your country, but sometimes culture can keep us from experimenting with our life. Another big one is school. I think school is one of the number one things that keeps people from experimenting with their lives. In school, you're taught to form to a mold, okay? And you're not allowed to think outside of the box. You have to learn the curriculum the way they want you to learn it and do it the way they want you to do it. Even though you can get the right answer another way, they want you to do it this particular way. So the school system isn't really promoting individual thought processes, and they're not promoting you can be multiple things in life. They promote that you have to be just this one thing. You can't deviate outside of that. So that's another reason why you may have blocks on what you think you can and can't experiment with your life, especially when it comes to your career. Another one is religion, and this is probably one of the biggest ones ever. Religion can keep people from experimenting with their lives more than anything, because there's a set of rules that you have to adhere by. And if you're very religious, it's hard to break away from that and to think for yourself and to go within and see what you really want as a person, as opposed to what you've been trained and brought up with as a child in your religion. And even your community can block you from experimenting and trying new things in life. It could be anything. Like your parents could block you. Maybe they want you to be a lawyer and you don't want to be a lawyer. You want to be a singer, and they think that singing's not going to pay the bills, and it might not, but they will pressure you to be something you're not. And so it's very important that you experiment with your life and you experiment with the things that you're curious about and you're interested in. And it's okay to do this. I've done this in my life, and my husband has done this in his life multiple times. I'll give you an example of how we did this with our business. We've recently started a business. It's a plumbing business, and my husband's been a plumber for years, and he had worked for a company for a very long time, and he became stressed and overwhelmed, and he decided that he was going to leave and find another job that was less stressful. And so we're wanting to create a lifestyle where he had less stress. So we did find a job where he was less stressed, and the job was very easy. but he soon became unhappy with that. So he goes back to the place where he was before, the high stress place, and he stays there for a while because he's experimenting with his life, right? That didn't satisfy what he was looking for, so he went back thinking that's what he needed, which was a leadership role. So he goes back. He realizes that's not what I'm looking for. And so I'm always on board when he goes to change jobs, because I know how it is. You have to be happy doing what you want to do. I did the same thing with my career, and I talked about that a little bit in the last video. But so he goes from that job to another company where he runs that company. And, you know, this whole time he's experimenting, trying to figure out where is the niche that I need to be in. Well, while he's at this job, you know, and like I say, no job went to waste. At every job, he learned a little bit of what he needed to know in order to run the business that we have today. So while he was at that job, a little light bulb went off, and he finally realized that he could run a business and he didn't need to be part of a company. And so after going within, we thought, you know, what the heck, you know, it's just a little risk. And it's not like he can't go out and get another job if this fails. So he left the job. We started a new business, and here we are 3 months in, and we're going strong, and, you know, we're paying our bills, we're making money, all is well. And I'm grateful for that. But we would have never known that we could be, successful in this business had we not taken any action at all to experiment. So that's why it's important to be open to experimenting. Now, you do have to be responsible and use logic and reason up to a point. Now, you want to keep your safety in mind. Like if you have a lot of kids, you want to make sure that you have a backup plan, things like that. Even though we didn't have a backup plan, but he also knew that I was knowledgeable in business. He had faith in himself 100%. And here we are. We may be the exception, but maybe not. And I think we did this based on some of the ideas that I'm trying to teach you guys. You know, remove the limiting beliefs, remove the blocks, take chances, experiment with your life. It's not like he could never go back to another job. So we were open to that, and we knew that we wouldn't be crushed. It's just a failure. In failure, you can learn things, just like a failed experiment. You collect the data, you redesign the experiment, and then you perform the experiment all over again. So that's what I'm trying to encourage you guys to do, is to experiment with your life, put new ideas in your mind, try to think differently than you think before, and take different actions, and experiment and see if what you want to do in life and what you're curious about is a match, and see if it benefits you. And if it doesn't benefit you, all you have to do is stop. Super simple, super easy. So go out and try the new ideas, try the new thing, experiment with it for 3 weeks, see if it works, see if it's a plausible thing, and just get to doing it. And, you know, just be responsible, use proper logic and reason. You know, I'm not asking you to go out and do anything dangerous. I'm not encouraging that at all. We're talking about strictly business, relationships, things like that. Your lifestyle, anything, your health, you know, anything you want to try to improve that isn't working, you know, just start experimenting and realize that you can back up anytime you need to. And don't let fear get in the way, because fear can hold us back from so much happiness. So let go of the fear and be brave and experiment with your life. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.